Hey you. Yeah, you. What are you doing all the way over there? Come here. I have something to tell you. Something really important about a beautiful creature, a majestic creature, a creature that knows the depth of the darkness. What are you still doing over there? Psst, come here. There we go. That's so much better. Hello, Starseed family. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Today's video is going to be about the Yellow Crowned Night Heron. This is a beautiful, majestic animal to see that has so much to teach you, especially if you are walking along your spiritual path. If you're one that implements spirituality inside of your life, that believes in karma, that believes in reincarnation, or that also believes in the fact that life is teaching you. Life is a lesson. Life has signs. Life has symbols. And we're not meant to just live out our life and waste our days and then die. But actually, if you believe that we are meant to take every moment as a moment to evolve, as you're supposed to grow, as you're supposed to shed, as you're supposed to rebirth, if you believe in that spiritual principle, then you are going to benefit from the meaning of the Yellow Crowned Night Heron. So without further ado, let's get straight into all the things that we can learn about the Yellow Crowned Night Heron. All right, so with the Yellow Crowned Night Heron, this bird is widely known throughout Africa, Asia, and Americas. It's also known throughout histories, right? So, and also with some islands. So the beauty about this bird is its symbolism, its meaning, and the characteristic about this bird. When it comes to how people have looked at this bird as a significance of wisdom, it goes deep. It goes as far back as the land of Kemet, which is known as ancient Egypt in modern day history books. But this is the land of Kemet, the land of Kemet being the land of the dark soil around the Nile River, the land of the rich dark soil, and the land of the dark people, which is going to be Kemet. There we actually have one of the deities, we can call them, but inside of the Neturu, which is going to be the scripture of what is known as modern day hieroglyphics. So hieroglyphics is actually called the Neturu inside of the Kemetian ways of speaking. And this is wise words. These are words of divinity. That is what Neturu actually means, because Neter means divinity. Neter means divinity. And Neturu means divine, we can say deities, but divine gods and goddesses, okay? And so, yes, you guys are not kidding. We're gonna have to unfold all of this. So there's no really way for me to sugarcoat it. I just gotta get straight into it. We got the Neturu, right? And the Neturu is what is known as the hieroglyphics. But really what it is the divine scripture. It's divine word. It's the divine scripture. Okay, so it's writing. And it's not just writing, but it's writing that leads you to divinity. Another example of this Neturu, which has to do with the Yellow Crowned Night Heron, is when we think about Kemet, we think about the boat of Ra, which I have talked about on my channel before. And the boat of Ra is really storytelling. The boat of Ra is something that comes out of the mythology of the ancient Kemetic practices and teachings. And it shows how we are traveling throughout life, but not just life, but how we're traveling throughout the different worlds of life, the different stages of life, and also the different planes of life, okay? That being the Ta plane, which is the physical plane, that being Pet, which is going to be the astral plane, and that also being Duat, which is going to be the causal plane, and then after that you actually have your home. All right, so when we think about the boat of Ra, we are thinking about something that is symbolizing movement. It is a boat and it's moving. It's symbolizing movement, and it's symbolizing movement through the different phases of life. So when you die and you're not actually dead, but your physical body is dead, you are going to the next stage of life. The boat of Ra is also moving. Now with this boat of Ra, the boat of Ra also carries Neturu inside of it. So if you're paying attention, you'll notice that when I said Medu Neter, I said that Medu Neter means like divine scripture, divine writing, divine word. And we're looking at that because Neter means divinity inside of the Egyptian language, inside of the Kemetic language. Neter means divinity. So the boat of Ra carries all the Neterus inside of it. These Neterus are gods and goddesses that will lead you to divinity if you so decide to practice and implement the practices of these gods and goddesses. They should lead you to divinity, which is Ra. All right, this is the boat of Ra, carrying all the Neterus inside of it, which is going to lead you to divinity. That is just a quick way of me explaining and breaking down the language for you so you can understand why Medu Neter means divine scripture. And Metu also means to speak. So we're speaking divine scripture. Okay. Now, the reason why the Medu Neter is so important is because it is related to one of the Neterus, and that is going to be Djehuti. Now, if you practice or learn mythology or occult knowledge, then you will understand that Djehuti is Thoth. Thoth. I don't know how to pronounce that part, but that is the same exact god as Djehuti. There are just the Kemetic original names, and then there are also the Greek names which had been renamed, okay? So Djehuti is the original name, and Thoth is the Greek name. So Djehuti is important because Djehuti is the writer of the Medu Neter. He wrote the Medu Neter. Some of you are like, what are you talking about? What does this have to do with the Yellow Crowned Heron, Night Heron? Well, the reason why it's so important is because this particular god has the head of a night heron. And that is why it is so important. Now, upon my research, I haven't really been able to find anything that states that there is a yellow crowned night heron in any other parts of the world other than the Americas for some reason. But there are black crowned night herons inside of the other parts of the world. So it may not have been a yellow crowned night heron, or maybe it was. That I'm not sure of yet. If anybody knows, you can list that inside of the comments section if you actually know and you have facts. Otherwise, either way, the yellow crowned night heron and the black crowned night heron are very much the same thing. The only difference is the color of their crown, which we can go into the color symbolism here later on in the video. Now, Djehuti, with the head of the yellow crowned night heron or the black crowned night heron, is a symbolism of wisdom. And I don't just mean wisdom like an owl or wisdom like a this or wisdom like a that. It is a deep symbolism of wisdom because it's the head. It's the head of Djehuti. When we look inside the Kemetic deities and we look inside the Kemetic iconology, we will see that some of their mythology will show gods and goddesses with the body of the animal, but then the head of a human. But in this particular Djehuti, in this particular god, his head is actually the body of the animal, which is going to symbolize his actual wisdom, is much like the Yellow Crowned Night Heron. So with that being said, the night heron, the Yellow Crowned Night Heron, definitely represents wisdom, and it also represents protection. Inside of West Africa, with the Yorubas, they actually believe that the night heron represents protection as well. Now let's go into, now that we understand Djehuti and why Djehuti is important when it comes to the Yellow Crowned Night Heron, let's just talk about the Yellow Crowned Night Heron overall. It is an animal that is nocturnal. So since it's nocturnal, that means that it moves with the moon. So it comes out when the moon decides to come up. And it goes back to sleep when the moon decides to go to sleep. So now we have the symbolism of the moon. If we think about the sun and the moon, sun symbolizes vitality, it symbolizes father, it symbolizes masculinity, it symbolizes power, and the moon symbolizes the mind, the emotions, intellect. The moon also symbolizes intuition. The moon also symbolizes darkness because it has these different shadows that it casts. It has these different phases that it goes through. So it's also magical in a sense, which takes intelligence. The moon is also governed by water element. And this all aligns with the Yellow Crowned Night Heron because the Yellow Crowned Night Heron is very much with water element. Water element has to deal with the moon, and the Yellow Crowned Night Heron moves with the moon, right? So when you see a Yellow Crowned Night Heron inside of your life, it is telling you to embody the things that you see the Yellow Crowned Night Heron doing. As the Yellow Crowned Night Heron is awake through the nights, that is why it is seen as such a wise person, because it's able to go into the depths of the darkness. When we're talking about darkness, we're talking about occult knowledge. We're talking about things that are hidden. You can see a certain part of the moon, but you can't see all of it. The rest is hiding, right? But when it comes to the Yellow Crowned Night Heron, the Yellow Crowned Night Heron is able to see through the darkness. As a matter of fact, I've had experiences where I've seen the Yellow Crowned Night Heron during night, and it can see perfectly, just like an owl. It is able to see where the worms are in the ground, and if you watch one in person, you'll see that it bounces back and forth very quickly, but very, very methodically at the same time. And it is able to get the worms and know when the worms are coming up. Somehow, I don't know how, but they're able to see that much inside of the dark. So that's why when it comes to you seeing a Yellow Crowned Night Heron or night heron overall inside of your life, it is going to tell you that you're going through a phase where you're going to have a lot of wisdom. You're going to gain a lot of wisdom. You may go through an experience that is going to cause for you to actually learn a lot. You may have to grow. You may have to go through something that's just going to just teach you. Life is about to teach you some things, not just anything. But what I've noticed with the night herons is it's going to teach you about yourself. It's going to teach you about yourself. And the reason why is because Djehuti, which has the head of a night heron, and the night heron itself can be very individualistic. They can be very independent. Because they have all this wisdom, they don't necessarily have to rely on other animals or on other things that much. They're able to work alone. They're able to be independent a lot. And another characteristics that the night heron has that can help for you to understand this on a deeper level is how they are inside of their day-to-day life. Even when the night heron decides to couple up with another night heron and reproduce, they still go their separate ways. After the baby is born, they will go ahead and take care of the baby for 30 days until the baby can fly. And then after that, it's only about 7 weeks before that night heron is left to go on its own. It's gone. It's not like the geese where they all hang out together and it's all about community and unconditional love. It's more individual. You're gone after several weeks of you being born. You're going to have to go fend for yourself. You're going to have to grow some wisdom. You're going to have to pick up on the hidden messages, the hidden codes. You're going to have to learn through experiences. So when it comes to seeing this bird, it can also be telling you that you need to spend some time alone. Spend some time reflecting on your own life. Spend some time reflecting on what it is that you already know. Spend some time reflecting, just like the water element. Being able to reflect, being able to project. You're meant to spend time reflecting so that way you can then project or manifest what it is that you want in life. Here's another beautiful example of the Yellow Crowned Night Heron. I saw this bird right when the night before I scheduled to get my hair locked. I saw this bird. It was coming on like a month. Really, it was coming on a couple years where I was like, one day I might get dreads. One day I might get locked. I might get my hair locked. And it wasn't until randomly I woke up one day and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. Now's the time. And around that time is when I also saw the Yellow Crowned Night Heron. The night before, I had to go get my hair locked. I saw the night heron. And what was happening in my mind before I saw the night heron is I was worrying. I was worrying so hard about how much information I don't know about locks. What kind of journey is this going to be? I was really in my head because it was one of those things where I felt like I was only going to learn through experience, but I'm changing my whole identity and my entire appearance based off of something that I really don't know much about. So it was actually kind of scary. I felt like I was hidden. I felt like there was hidden wisdom, hidden knowledge, hidden from me. I felt like there were things that I just didn't know. And then there in the midst of the darkness, in the depths of the night, I saw the Yellow Crowned Night Heron very confidently catching its prey. And I thought to myself, success. I would be able to mirror what I saw that bird doing in front of me, which was to confidently catch its prosperity, catch its goals, success. And my intuition told me right away that it was going to be a successful journey, a long one with a lot of learning curves, but that everything was going to be okay. So you can also see this bird at a time when you are about to do something and you may feel a little bit uneasy to do it. Seeing this bird could also tell you that you should also do more research on what it is that you're about to do before getting into it. Doesn't mean that you can't do what it is that you plan on doing. It just means to make sure that you are paying attention to gaining wisdom. Don't go in blindly. Go in with being able to see in the light and the dark. Go in with your mind fully open and ready to grasp any type of information or intellect that you can in order to help what it is that you're going through so that you can be more successful. When you see this bird, it is not about, it's not really too much about going with the flow. That can be part of the meaning depending on what it is that you're going through. You may have to go with the flow as well, but I will say you can go with the flow because that's water element, but it's not for you to be going with the flow so much that you're almost too laid back to where you're procrastinating. It's definitely meant for you to be very active. It's definitely meant for you to be very independent. It's definitely meant for you to spend time in solitude. And by solitude doesn't mean you have to hermit completely, because with this bird, when they're mating with their partner, they're actually very helpful and they help each other. The mother and the father both take in responsibilities when it comes to the incubation period of their young ones. While the young ones are still inside of the egg and the mother before it's been birthed, the father and the mother both do chores. And then after the egg has been birthed, the father and the mother both do chores. They both build the nest together. They both go out separately and hunt food and come together. They both do actively do things. So it's not about being so independent to the point where it's at an extreme. It's about independence to a point where it's very healthy, and to a point where it's only going to help you learn more about yourself. Another thing about the Yellow Crowned Night Heron is it has a lot to do with individuality, in the sense of understanding who you are. What is your image? What do you look like? What is it that you like to do? You're going to understand your personality more. You're going to understand what works for you, what doesn't work for you. You're going to gain a lot of wisdom when it comes to yourself. Because when we look at ancient Kemet, we're looking at the whole way to sum up the Kemetic religion is know thyself, which dates back to that. Knowing thyself. Knowing thyself, right? And the head has to do with self. Whether you're studying whether you're studying Kemeticism, whether you're studying astrology, whether you're studying chakra systems, you know that when it comes to this part of your body, it has to deal with self-realization. And so Djehuti having the head of that, it means that that is a big part of Djehuti's identity, has to deal with the characteristics of this bird. So you can be seeing Djehutis. You could be reminded of Djehuti, or you could be wanting to look up into Kemetic spirituality. You may be drawn towards, sorry, there's like ants here. I'm on Ant Hill. You may be drawn towards Kemeticism. You may be drawn towards Thoth in particular and learning about him. But overall, what it comes down to is this bird is just there's so much depth to this bird, because it has to deal with water element, because it has to deal with the moon, because it has to deal with all of these things. But all of these things really come down and they really round up to one meaning. They all coincide with one another. So yeah, when you see this bird, you're about to gain a lot of wisdom. If you're the type of person that doesn't really like to learn, you can make your life a lot less stressful, and your challenges will be a lot easy if you decide to open your brain up a little bit and to think outside of the box and to open your mind, to expand your mind and want to learn more. The more you are thirsty to learn during the times that you see the Yellow Crowned Night Heron, the better it is going to be for you. The more you're wanting to learn, the more you're wanting to really evolve your thought process, your perception, because we're talking about Thoth or Djehuti. We are talking about being able to communicate, being able to write. You may even see yourself wanting to do some writing. You may even see yourself wanting to really go out and study occult knowledge, because that's hidden wisdom. You may feel yourself drawn to occult knowledge, drawn to sound therapy, drawn to chakras, drawn to any of these occult knowledges, astrology, mythology, different religions, and the Vedas, and very ancient alchemist type based practices. Okay, let's see, what else do we have when it comes to this bird? Well, like I said, I was not able to really find like Yellow Crowned Night Herons really located anywhere else other than the Americas, unfortunately. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comment section if you know that there's another area where Yellow Crowned Night Herons are. But for me personally, I got the research and I seen them in these areas. I saw mine in the southeast coastal area of Virginia. Now, you'll see the Yellow Crowned Night Heron in the southeast coastal part of North America. So that's going to be from Virginia, East Coast, all the way down to Florida, all the way down to some parts of Mexico, the eastern coast of it, because Mexico is still considered North America. You're also going to see it on the eastern coasts of Central America, which is also going to also include like islands like Jamaica's and Barbados and all those islands. And you will also see that bird located on some of those islands. You can also see the bird in South America as well, on the eastern coast of South America. So those are some of the places that you can see it. Now, even though it's on the coastal southeastern parts of North America and the coastal eastern parts of Central and South America, you still may see it in a park on the East Coast. Like, you can be miles inland from the coast but still see this bird at a park, because they do like marshy lands. They do like marshy, watery type of lands, even if it's not necessarily right on the beach or the coast. They also, you can see them inside of suburbans area. You can see them inside of neighborhoods, which is where I see mine a lot. The same one I see. You can see it inside of neighborhoods. You can also see this bird inside of parks and things of that nature. You will see it around dusk. You can see it around sunset, and you can see it throughout the night. So that is that for this bird. And I will say that when it comes to this bird, it represents prosperity. It represents a time of prosperity in your life. If you hold on and you continue to learn, you will have prosperity inside of your life and success from your willingness to be patient, as the bird is when they are hunting, and from your willingness to also learn and take in wisdom, and from your willingness to also just want to improve your intellect, right? Connecting with water element is going to be very important. Going near oceans, going near dams, alone, or going with someone that you feel that you can be yourself around, and that, you know, you guys can be able to be quiet together, where you can get that self-reflection. Learning about yourself, thinking about all the things that you've gone through in life is also going to help you connect with this bird. These are also things to do when you see this bird. I will also mention that you don't have to see this bird in person. You can see this bird as an omen just on the TV, where you feel very drawn to the bird. If you're watching it on a National Geographic channel, or you're watching a documentary and you see this bird, you can feel drawn to it. That is also going to be an omen for you. You can see images of it during your meditation, things of that nature. And when it comes to the black heron, if you're not in the Americas and you're seeing the black crowned night heron, they really are very similar. The only difference is, I'll say, one symbolizes protection a little bit more, and the other one symbolizes success with a happy ending just a little bit more. Okay, so I really could go on and on about the Yellow Crowned Night Heron. There's so much to talk about, but that's just me briefly touching some of the main facts about the night heron. If you want to learn more about it, you can go ahead and do some research on Djehuti, otherwise known as Thoth. You can also do some research on the bird itself, and you can also do some research on the Neturu, and also the meaning of the word Djehuti will also help you as well. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure that you hit the like button, put your comments down below if there's anything that you would like to know, if you have any experiences with this bird, or if you just want to let me know how you enjoyed the video. I'd love to hear it. Obviously, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And for those of you who are interested in supporting me or supporting my business, I do have handmade crystal pendants on my website, like this one over here, and these are for sale. I also have intuitive readings, as I am EFT therapy certified. I have EFT therapy on my website as well. All these things you guys can find on bloomingwoman.com. So without further ado, thank you so much for tuning into this video, guys, and I will see you all inside of the next video. Bye bye.